Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm back with the round 2 of the Menorca Masters Chess Open Tournament 2026. The world champion Gukesh, with still searching for his first win of the tournament, plays white against former world champion Ruslan Ponomariov. He gets a promising position, makes two key mistakes, survives a wild middle game, and then, with just 15 seconds on his clock, finds a perpetual check to escape with a draw. The two world champions, one dramatic escape. This is Menorca, round 2. White starts with e4, e5, d3. This is King's Pawn, Leonardo's variation. Gukesh, the world champion, avoids all the main line theory with this move. No railroad page, no Italian, no Scotch, just a slow King's Indian attack style setup. This tells something important about Gukesh mindset at Menorca. After a difficult Prague Masters and a draw in round 1, he is playing it safe, choosing positions where his deep positional understanding can shine, rather than getting into sharp theoretical battles. Knight c6, a3. Gukesh prevents bishop b4 permanently. This is extremely cautious. a3 on move 3 in an open game is almost never played at the elite level. It shows Gukesh is taking no risk. Knight f6, c4. The English style pawn structure. g6, knight c3, bishop g7, g3, h5, h5. Ponomariov immediately challenges White's kingside plans. This aggressive pawn thrust says, "You want to play slowly with g3? I will attack your kingside immediately." A creative and fighting response from the former world champion. Knight f3. The English style pawn structure with g3, bishop g2, and knight f3, Gukesh is building a reversed King's Indian, a solid space scaling setup. d6, h3. Gukesh stops h4 and secures a g4 square necessary prophylaxis. Knight d4, Ponomariov's most energetic move. The knight jumps to d4 square, offering to trade and potentially gaining the d4 outpost for a pawn. Knight into d4. Gukesh accepts the trade. Now black has a passed d4 pawn in white's territory, a long-term structural asset. Knight e2. Knight d7. Ponomariov repositions the knight to d7, preparing knight c5. The knight will come to c5 where it attacks the b3 pawn and eyed d3. Bishop g2, a5. Staking queenside space and preventing b4. Ponomariov's plan is clear. a5, knight c5 and queen b6. Queenside's pressure while the queen d4 pawn ties down white's pieces. b3, c6, bishop b2, queen b6. Queen b6, an excellent queen move, hitting b3 and f2, simultaneously forcing white to defend. Rook b1. Gukesh defends b3. With the rook, a slightly awkward but necessary move. Black castles on the king's side, white castles on the king's side, rook e8. Both kings castles king's side. Ponomariov places the rook on e8, keeping the e-file for potential counterplay and preparing knight c5. f4. Gukesh first mistake. King h2 was correct move, quietly improving the kingside position and preparing to play on the king side without rushing. The f4 push looks active but has a concrete problem. Because here, black can play knight c5, attacking this pawn and also threatening this pawn, and this pawn has only one defender. So white will take its bishop on the a1 square to support this pawn from the rook and the queen, and then black can capture this pawn and bishop can't take because rook is on e5. So the d pawn will capture the knight, and then this d pawn will march forward, giving a check to this king and attacking this knight simultaneously. So f4 was a mistake. Knight c5. Knight c5, black's knights immediately attacks b3. White positions become uncomfortable. The f4 pawn has weakened e4. Bishop a1. f5. After white's awkward bishop a1, retreating the bishop all the way to a1 and admission that f4 was wrong, Ponomariov has a devastating shot, knight into e4. But he played f5, b4. Despite escaping the immediate crisis, Gukesh plays b4, another mistake. The correct move was still king h2. Improving the king side and waiting. b4 is based on faulty logic. White tries to activate the queen side, but after a into b4 and a into b4, this knight lands on a4 square. a into b4, a into b4, knight a4. The knight lands on a4, attacking b2 and threatening knight c3, a fork of the queen and rook. Gukesh must trade king h2, knight c3, knight into c3, d into c3, c5. A brilliant practical decision from Gukesh. He sacrifices the c-pawn to open lines and liquidate the dangerous pawns. This is high quality defensive chess. When you are worse, create complications. D into c5. Bishop into c3. White wins back the c3 pawn, eliminating the dangerous passer. C into d4. Rook takes b4. Queen c5. Rook c4. Queen b5. Bishop takes g7. Gukesh trades the bishop for black's fianchettoed bishop. A good practical decision. Without the bishop g7, black's king is slightly more exposed and white can generate counterplay. King takes g7. Queen c2. Gukesh activates the queen. The position is approximately balanced, but Ponomariov still has more time on the clock and black pieces are slightly more active. Bishop e6. This is a mistake. Here, Gukesh could have played rook b1, attacking the queen and also eyeing on b7 pawn, or could have given a check by playing queen c3. Now Gukesh plays queen c3 check, but the move rook b1 was even better. King f7, rook c5. From this move, look at Gukesh clock. Queen b6, rook f2, rook e7, rook b2. An inaccuracy under time pressure. d4 was the correct move, advancing the pawn and gaining space. Rook b2 is too passive. Queen d8, rook e5, queen d6, rook e2, rook a3. Ponomariov activates the rook aggressively, threatening rook takes queen, queen e1, rook into d3. The rook captures d3, winning a pawn. Black is now better again. E into f5, g into f5. The f pawn exchanges open files. Black's position is suddenly very active. Queen b1. Here, h4 was necessary. White needed to create counterplay on the king side before black consolidates. After queen b1, black could have been clearly winning, but instead he plays rook d2. Ponomariov penetrates to d2. Now the position is critical. Rook takes e6. With 15 seconds on the clock, Gukesh finds the only saving move. He sacrifices the rook, taking Ponomariov's bishop e6 to create a perpetual check sequence. Rook takes rook. Queen into f5, check. The queen swings to f5 with check, the beginning of the perpetual. King e7. Queen h7 check. King d8. Queen g8 check. King e7. Queen g7 check. King d8. Queen g8 check. King e7. Queen g7 check. King d8. Perpetual check. The queen bounces between g7 and g8, chasing the black king between e7 and d8 forever. Neither player can avoid the repetition and draw is agreed. Two world champions, two former and current, fighting the very last second in rapid chess. Meanwhile, Dominguez and Harikrishna both win, shaking up the entire standings. This was round 2 coverage. I will be back with Gukesh game for round 3 here. Please don't forget to solve the puzzle I have kept for you on the screen in the right corner. Comment down your responses. What do you think? Who will win the Menorca Masters? Drop your predictions in the comments and subscribe for daily coverage of every round. Thank you for supporting. Take care and bye-bye.